So, if you are thinking of making a move to Minneapolis, there is no shortage of awesome places to live. We've covered lots of them. But today, you're going to want to stick around for this one. I'm going to pull back the curtain on one of Minneapolis's a bit lesser known suburbs, and that's going to be St. Louis Park, Minnesota. St. Louis Park is a first ring suburb right on the doorstep of Minneapolis, population about 50,000, and it has a lot to offer. Today, we're going to take you guys around, give you a video tour, talk about a little real estate, and show you what life is like in this fantastic suburb of Minneapolis. Okay, so before we get into St. Louis Park, per usual, just like to give a little setup as to where this lovely suburb is. So, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the mighty Mississippi River with a river running through it. I don't know why I like to say that so much. But here's St. Louis Park. I mean, you're literally just about 5 miles straight west of downtown Minneapolis. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but upper boundary of St. Louis Park is basically going to be this Highway 394 right on the edge of Golden Valley. Western boundary, basically Highway 169. Southern boundary, for the most part, it's going to be Highway 7. You can see St. Louis Park kind of jogs down here and flirts with Edina a little bit. And then this eastern edge is going to be right on the edge of Minneapolis. And this eastern edge is real cool, too, because you've got these lakes, Lake of the Isles, Cedar Lake, Minneapolis, and Lake Harriet. Some of the best places to walk and hang out in the Twin Cities, and that is right on the doorstep of St. Louis Park. So first ring suburb, population 50 grand, 5 minutes from downtown Minneapolis. And now let's get into the rest of this and see what St. Louis Park has to offer. And I'll tell you what, thanks for joining me on this tour. If this is your first time on our channel, thank you, I appreciate it. My name is Chris, my business partner Trevor, the team. We like to get out into these communities like St. Louis Park, other suburbs around Minneapolis, and show you guys what life is like. If you are thinking about making a move here, honestly guys, it doesn't matter if it's 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years. Our contact information is all below. Please bang that bell, subscribe. That way we can keep you up to date on what's happening with the Minneapolis market and all the cool things around here. I am coming to you right now from Westwood Hills Nature Center, which is in the middle of St. Louis Park. There's a major freeway, Highway 394, right over there behind me. You can kind of see it in some of the buildings, but you wouldn't really know you're in the middle of suburbia. So this is a 160-acre park, and it's got a little bit of everything. And I will tell you what, this is an extremely impressive park for you nature folks that like to get out. It's got wetlands, hardwood, upland trails, lowland, swamp, moss, peat moss, bog, trees, pine cones, and everything in between. There is a fantastic trail that kind of goes around the perimeter of this lake. You can see there's even a bit of a floating boardwalk off in the back in the distance. But Westwood Hills Nature Center is probably going to be St. Louis Park's premier park. It's its largest. It has a very, very nice visitor center with lots of activities and things for the kids inside. You can easily spend a day here. And one of the best things about this 160-acre park, it is completely free. So, as I'm walking out of the Westwood Hills Nature Center, just wanted to give you guys a bit more of the flavor of this park, and I can't say it enough. Can't do it justice in a video like this. There's so much to see. They do a great job of featuring educational exhibits and things to show kids or yourself if you're interested. But, you know, along with the rest of St. Louis Park, man, I'm out of breath. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I forgot my cell phone. Went all in my car, had to run back and get it. So if I'm breathing like a water buffalo now, that's why. That's why. But you can't do a park like this justice in a 20-minute video. We could do a video all on this park, all on its own. So it's really worth getting out to see. St. Louis Park in general has 51 parks. So this is a recurring theme with Minneapolis and the suburbs around it is they all tend to have a lot of parks. They all tend to do a really good job with their green space, and St. Louis Park is going to be no exception to that. So I am at the West End, the Shops at West End, it's officially called, in St. Louis Park. Now, St. Louis Park is going to be mainly a residential community, neighborhoods, homes. It's not a big economic hotspot. You're probably commuting to downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, possibly one of the many Fortune 500 companies anchored here. But the Shops at West End, so this area sprung up in about 2009. And the idea here was a mixed use space. So you're going to see a lot of new condos, things like that around here. A mixed use space that is very walkable and is blending, you know, dining and shopping options alike. So what you will find at the Shops at West End, it's an area probably 4 blocks wide or so, about 4 blocks square. There's about 40 shops. There's a very large Icon movie theater, if anyone still goes to movies. If they still make any good movies. Anyone? Getting off topic. But the whole idea is this is an area where you can come, hang out, park, and then walk around, and you can see just by where we're going here, just how walkable this is. The other thing to call out about, I mean, I think St. Louis Park in general, but especially the West End, in some of these other suburbs we've covered, places like Minnetonka, Plymouth, the nightlife can leave things to be desired. I will tell you right now, St. Louis Park does a much better job with nightlife than do a lot of its local suburban brethren. The Shops at West End feature a whole variety of restaurants. We've got Yard House, which we're going to pass by here right now, Roho, Reiku Sushi, Crave, Punch Bowl Social. There's a whole ton of them. And a lot of them have outdoor seating, so you're going to see people gathering here for lunch. You're going to see a lot of people here on happy hours, things like that, just congregating because, again, it's so many options, so close together, and it's all very walkable. So in keeping with the mixed space, mixed use theme that the West End has really brought, not surprisingly, with the advent of all the shops, restaurants, and whatnot in the West End, we've seen the rise of a lot of new condos, apartment buildings. I'm at Central Park West right now, you can see here, but all around me, as a result of this kind of economic hotspot that is the West End, has been very rapid growth of condos, apartment living, and whatnot. This area is really kind of set up for the young professional, very close to the freeway, lots of dining, entertainment options, and very short commute, of course, to downtown Minneapolis. So hopefully you can get a sense to see just how cool this area is. I mean, just note how wide these brick sidewalks are, tree-lined, park benches. Everything about it is very aesthetically pleasing, and that's obviously by design. I know you can't see it in this video, but it's worth mentioning. So tucked right on the other side of this busy little road here, right directly across from West End, you're going to find Home Depot. There's a grocery store coming up right in front of me. There is the ever popular Costco with their $5 chickens. For my gym rat friends, there is a massive Lifetime Fitness about a block and a half behind me. So point being, this West End in St. Louis Park is kind of a self-contained little area. They've got almost everything you need, from the grocery shopping, the walking, the dining, the health club. It's all right here, which is part of the reason this West End at St. Louis Park has become such a vibrant spot. Oh, and one of the best things about the West End, you can see behind me. Now, if you guys are coming from somewhere warm out of state, I get it. Let me tell you something. It gets a little chilly here in the winter. So parking, warm parking not far away from where you're trying to go can be a big deal. Shops at West End, free underground parking for the whole place. So for any of us that have children, obviously schools are a significant piece of the equation when considering what we're doing. The good news with St. Louis Park schools, it's primarily all good news. St. Louis Park School District are all nationally renowned, having been named National Schools of Excellence. All schools offer the International Baccalaureate program, helping prepare students for basically life after college. The district itself also has a very strong Spanish immersion program, if that's something you're interested in as well. And they also have a few very desirable private options, probably most notably the religiously affiliated Benilde of St. Margaret. So the school district in St. Louis Park is going to be strong as well. It's embedded right in the center of the community. And if St. Louis Park is an area you are considering, you can definitely have faith that you're going to get a solid school district here as well.
So let's chat a little real estate as it relates to St. Louis Park. As I mentioned in this video earlier, St. Louis Park is mainly a residential community. So it's going to mainly be neighborhoods and homes, of course. And I actually just decided to hop into this neighborhood right next to the school because to me, this is absolutely the quintessential neighborhood. So average price point for a home in St. Louis Park going to be more affordable than some of the others we've looked at in some of our other videos like Minnetonka. Average price is going to be right around $400K for a single family home in St. Louis Park. And these homes here that I'm walking past at the moment are great examples. A lot of St. Louis Park, I would say the majority of St. Louis Park is going to be homes somewhere between 1,500, 2,000 square feet, built in the 50s or 60s. You're going to find a lot of one levels with a basement. You're going to find a lot of 1.5 story homes. So the homes tend to be a little bit more modest than some of the surrounding suburbs, a little bit smaller. But as you can see in this video, given that it is an established community, you're going to get big mature trees. You're not going to find the cookie cutter neighborhoods. Things that personally are a big value to me is having diversity in the neighborhoods, trees, things like that. And you're going to get that in St. Louis Park. Of course, you know, St. Louis Park does brush up against Edina on its southern edge and over against Minneapolis on its eastern border. So you certainly can find some higher end real estate in pockets of St. Louis Park for sure. But a lot of St. Louis Park is going to be these smaller single family home, 400K-ish, just what you're seeing here. So I am coming to you guys from the Wolf Park neighborhood of St. Louis Park. And admittedly here we are flirting with the border, the northern part of Edina and the western edge of Minneapolis. But this is just such a cool pocket of St. Louis Park, had to show you guys. So this area, this Wolf Park area is really, it's a very mixed use area. You will definitely find some neighborhoods, residential areas, a lot of new condos, things of that nature. You'll also find a lot of businesses, parks, green space, as you can see here just from our video. But things of note around this area, you have the St. Louis Park Rec Center. Rec Center is really 2 big hockey rinks because in Minnesota it's all about how many hockey rinks any building has. But it also features the fantastic St. Louis Park's Aquatic Center, which great place to bring the kids on a hot summer day. Water slides, lifeguards, concessions, whole 9 yards is $10 if you're a resident or local. So pretty good deal there. The rest of this area, it's got a really cool amphitheater, big mature trees, walking trails, little ponds. Again, it's a great blend of green space into that suburban environment. Directly behind me is Excelsior Boulevard. That stretch is called Miracle Mile. There's a lot of good shopping, things like that. And we are just at this point a few miles from Minneapolis, which means some of those most desirable lakes, Lake Makaska, formerly Lake Calhoun, Lake of the Isles, and Lake Harriet, are all just a few miles that way. So Wolf Park is a really cool, up and coming, trendy pocket of St. Louis Park that you definitely want to be aware of. This is Excelsior and Grand, and this is probably going to be our last stop on this video for today. So real quick, this road right behind me, running east and west, that is Excelsior Boulevard. And if you carry on, I mean literally at this point a mile or a half that way, you will be in Minneapolis, and Excelsior Boulevard will run you right down into the lakes we talked about earlier, Makaska, Harriet, all those things, just right down the road. So that is part of a draw to this area. But this whole area around Excelsior and Grand, that's where you're going to find your Starbucks. There's a Trader Joe's just around the corner. And as you can see, it's more of the same. It's walkable, little shops tucked in. You got the big brick paver sidewalks, which I love. Lots of little seating areas, things like that. Just a cool little pocket of St. Louis Park to be aware of. And it's one of the areas that's a bit more commercially focused. So make sure this is on your radar if you're checking out St. Louis Park. Well, I think that's going to about do it for this video today. It is a hot one today in Minneapolis. It's low 90s. I know you guys from the south in Florida, I know that's nothing, but I mean, for us Minneapolis folk, 90s and a little bit of humidity, which we got today, it's pretty cooking. Hopefully you enjoyed this tour. St. Louis Park brings a lot to the table. It's more affordable as far as home prices. They do very well with dining and shopping options, much better than a lot of the communities surrounding them. They've got their 51 parks, green spaces blended throughout. With its affordability, its proximity to Minneapolis, St. Louis Park brings a lot to the table. So thank you for joining me. My name is Chris. I have issues smiling, but I try. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, guys. Bang that bell below. We'd love to keep you up to date, posted on what's going on in places like St. Louis Park and around Minneapolis. Questions, comments, and sarcasm, drop them in the comments below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.